Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
And you mentioned us being one, right? Yeah. My brother right here, what's your name, bro? Quan. You agree that all people supposed to be one? Why you agree with that?
We had to come from somewhere. We all came, I feel like we all came from other lands. Everything good to get our opinion, everything's happening. We got the rich on that side, rich soil, rich everything.
When I say one, like a democracy, like everybody being one-minded. Give me that Maccabees, First Maccabees chapter 1.
Like, excuse me.
Go ahead.
It's just like you ever seen Drumline?
Yeah.
That quote, what they band leader said, one band, one sound. So
Okay.
when you become when that whole group comes together and make that one sound and make it beautiful, everybody rocking to it.
141.
They all become one.
Now let me show you something real quick, because you said everybody come from somewhere. Watch this. I want you to listen to this. Read this. Because you mentioned when you first came up, when they enslaved us, many things changed about us. Watch this. Read this.
First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom.
So King Antiochus was a king of Greece. So we're talking about white people here. Read on.
That all should be one people.
He said everybody on this earth should be one. One people. One sound. Right? Read on.
And everyone should leave his laws.
And everyone should do what?
Should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
All of the heathen. The heathens, when you read the Bible, all of the heathen is everybody outside of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel consist of you, and you. Black people, Hispanic people, Native American Indian people, right? So read that last part one more time.
And all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
So all of the heathens, meaning all of the other races, they agree with the white man. Sounds similar to something, right? It sounds like the white man today. The white man here in America got all power and all rule, and whatever he say goes. Now I want y'all to listen to this. Everybody should be one people. Read.
Verse 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites.
Many of who?
Also of the Israelites.
So now the Bible says many also of the Israelites. Read.
Consented to.
They consented, meaning they agree with it, just like you, just like you. I agree, we should be one people. Martin Luther King was that one man too, right? Read on.
Consented to his religion.
Read.
And sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
So now remember, these are the heathens. They don't keep our laws because God's laws was only given unto us. So they profane the Sabbath, right? They sacrifice swine's flesh. These are things we never did. But because we consented unto the heathen, watch this, read on.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and to the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid.
Guess what a strange law of the land is today? Give me something that's strange, that's weird to you.
That weird.
That America put a stamp on. Strange.
I can't remember.
Y'all need help?
That guy.
He said taxes. Do you agree with homosexual marriages?
No, I definitely agree.
That's strange, right?
Yeah, that's strange.
But guess what? When we follow the heathen, we begin to consent to those strange manners of the heathens. Y'all understand that? So read that last part again.
And he sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and to the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable.
So America's plan, when you agree to America and its ways, the plan is to make our souls abominable to our God. Y'all understand? That's the goal of America, is to make your souls abominable to your God. Because y'all know, hold where you at. Give me Joel chapter 2 verse 27. I want y'all to listen to this real closely, because these people right here is a special people on this earth. Greater than what you ever thought you were.
Bring it out.
Understand that. You're greater than what you think you are. You're greater than what you see in the hood and in the ghetto. You're God's chosen people. Watch what God say about you. Read them.
Joel chapter 2 verse 27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel.
It says, you shall know this day that God is in the midst of Israel. Midst of Israel meaning in the midst of your people. Read on.
And that I am the Lord your God.
And God says, I am the Lord your God. I am the Lord your God. Read on.
And none else.
And what?
And none else.
So wait, God ain't for everybody? Is that what we just read? It says, I'm the Lord your God and nobody else is. I'm in the midst of Israel or Israelites and nobody else on this earth. So you're greater than what you think you are. But the heathens or the white man's plan is to make your souls abominable to your God. How? Go back to 1 Maccabees. Finish that out.
1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 48. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness.
With all manners of uncleanness. Fornication is uncleanness. Adultery, uncleanness. Stealing, killing, all of that is uncleanness. You understand? It defiles just homosexuality is an unclean thing. It's an uncleanness. That makes our souls abominable to God. Read on.
And profanation, to the end that they might forget the law.
To the end that the Israelites who was given God's laws, give me that in Psalms 147, you can drop that. Psalms 147 verse 19 and 20. I want you to hear this real quick before you go. These people were given God's laws. The plan of America is to take away God's laws from your spirit and make you abominable to God to the point where there's no kingdom for you. You understand? Watch this. Listen to this.
Psalm chapter 147 verse 19. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
So he showed his word unto Jacob. Jacob is our forefather. Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and the statutes and the laws were given to that people. Read on.
He have not dealt so with any nation.
The Bible says God has not dealt with any other nation to have given them something so dear and special unto him. God gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. He said, look, this is what's going to make you the greatest people on earth. Do these, keep them, and you're going to be as the apple of my eye. I'm going to always protect you. And nobody, everywhere you put your feet on is going to be yours. Right. But what did we decide to do? What did we do? We wanted to be one with the heathen. You understand? So that mindset has to change. Give me Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8. I want that in Psalm about the heathen. Y'all know what I'm talking about? I think it's Psalm 135. No.
Deuteronomy chapter.
The heathen, when we get amongst them. Read it.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 8. When the Most High divided the nation.
What did God do?
When the Most High divided to the nation.
It says when the Lord divided the nations. So God never wanted us to be one people. Because every time we became one people, remember in Genesis chapter 11, the Tower of Babel? When all nations come together, it's all for evil. It's never for God's plan. Y'all understand that? So guess what? Okay. Read it again.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam.
God separated the nations. He divided the nations. God never wanted us to intermingle with the nations. Because let me ask y'all a question. When we started to integrate, how well has that done for black people all the way up until now? You're an older gentleman. You should know, right? How has that helped us out? Has it? We've gotten worse. Because why? When we were segregated, what we had? We had Black Wall Street. We was prospering. You understand? But when we amongst the heathen, give me Psalms 106 and verse 35. God divided us from them. He said, I chose y'all to be my special people. I gave you laws, statutes, and commandments to keep, to be special unto me. But guess what? We choose to be amongst them and defile ourselves with everything they got going on. Read this.
Psalms chapter 106, verse 35.
Hey, my brother right here, I want you to listen to this. Brother that just walked up. I want you to listen to the scripture. Read it.
But we were mingled among the heathen.
It says, but when we start to mingle and mix among the heathens, read on.
And learned their works.
What did we do?
Learned their works.
We began to learn their works. Not the works of God. We learned their works. You understand? God gave us commandments. We just read that in Psalms 147. He said, I ain't dealt with all the other nations like I dealt with y'all. But when y'all mix and mingle amongst the heathens, amongst the other nations, you start to learn their works. Read on.
And they served their idols.
And we did what?
And they served their idols.
And then we served their idols and not our God. They turned our mind away from our God when we become one with them. We integrate with them. So now my question is, was Martin Luther King's dream the plan of God? No. We just read it. Give me that in Jeremiah 23. I think it's verse 6. Jeremiah 23 verse what?
Jeremiah chapter 23 verse 25. I have heard what the prophets have said.
So now we're reading a spiritual book. God knows the best for his people. You understand? He knows the best for our people. So God foreseen this time. He said, I know the lot. Read it again.
I have heard what the prophets said.
He said, I know what your prophets say. The prophets right here is referring to your pastors, your preachers. Watch this. Read on.
That prophecy lies in my name.
That prophesy lies in my name. So there's false prophets on the earth that prophesy lies in God's name. Y'all see that? He says, I know the prophets that y'all have that set up in your churches. They're going to prophesy lies in my name. You ever went to church and a pastor said, I had a dream and the Lord showed me and
bring it out.
Y'all ever heard that before? Yeah. God says those are lies. I ain't showed them nothing. Watch this. Read it again.
I have heard what the prophets said. That prophesy lies in my name.
They lie in God's name. Read on.
Saying, I have dreamed. I have dreamed.
What man on the earth said, I have a dream? That little black boys and little white girls. What man? That was Martin Luther King.
Bring it out.
So the Lord said, I know the lies of the prophets that prophesy in my names falsely. Read on.
How long shall this be in the hearts of the prophets that prophesy lies?
God says that was a lie. Why? Because we just read in Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 8 that the Lord divided the nations. God never wanted us to intermingle with the other nations. Because when we intermingle, what happens?
We get qualified.
You lose where you come from. You lose your belief.
Thank you. Quan is on point. You lose track of where you come from. You lose track of your laws. You lose track of your identity. You lose track of your heritage. Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 4. So it says when we mingled amongst the heathen, we learn the heathen's works. Read this.
Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage.
Now, this is the prophet Jeremiah. Hold this. Give me Jeremiah 8 and verse 21. Jeremiah 8 verse 21. Watch this. So now, I want y'all to hear this. Jeremiah says, thou, even thyself. Read this.
Jeremiah chapter 8 verse 21. For the hurt of the daughter of my people, I hurt.
So Jeremiah says, for the hurt of my people, they getting shot down in the street. They getting thrown in prison. You understand? They killing each other. I'm hurt to see that.
That's right.
So Jeremiah cared about his people. Watch this.
I am black.
What?
I am black.
What?
I am black.
Y'all knew the prophets was black?
Bring it out.
I don't think y'all knew that. I don't think y'all know how great and special y'all live.
He ain't that covered.
He sure ain't. That's a false image of Jesus Christ.
Right.
That's a false prophet.
Bring it out.
The one on the right side looks more like the description of Jesus Christ. Y'all read about the description of Christ?
Yeah.
Quan?
Hair, wool.
Yes. So you read that before. But what I'm showing you is Christ wasn't the only man that was black in the Bible. And I know for a fact your pastor ain't showing you these precepts. You understand? We can show you precept upon precept, prophet after prophet who's black. Job, when you read Job 30 and 30, he said, my skin is black. Song of Solomon, King Solomon, the wisest king to walk the earth besides Christ. He said, I am black. You understand? So I just want to show y'all that. That's a part of your heritage. Great black men with wisdom that wrote this.
That's right.
Go back to that, Jeremiah 17:4.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself.
So now God is speaking to Jeremiah. He says, you and the rest of your people shall what?
Shall discontinue from thine heritage.
He says it's going to come a time where the laws that I gave you, eventually you're going to discontinue from it. You're going to forget who you are. That's why we out here. We're reminding our people that you're not just black men.
Right.
Because what would you subscribe to? What's your nationality?
You know, the world put it as African American. I don't consider myself American. I don't get the same rights as others. There's a lot of things I don't get.
Okay. So American or African American, that's what we call ourselves as a nation. You might not call yourself that, but we as a people call ourselves black, right? God says you're going to discontinue from the name that I gave you. I gave you Israel, from the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon on down. That's the name I gave you. But because you sinned against me, I'm going to put a heathen over you. You're going to learn their works, and guess what they're going to call you? Nigger. You understand? So read it again.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
It says you're going to discontinue from the heritage that I gave you. I gave you your name. I gave you laws on how to carry yourself. I gave you laws on morality. I gave you laws on diet, what to eat, what not to eat, so that you can always be healthy. You understand?
Bring it out.
Y'all smoke?
Yeah.
You do. God says, listen, your spirit, give me that in 1 Corinthians, because I don't want to quote it wrong, and we're going to go back. So these are things that's a part of our heritage that we discontinue from. The reason why we get drunk, we get high out our minds, the reason why we fornicate all over the place, you understand, and make baby mamas and baby daddies, is because we discontinue from the heritage that God gave us.
Bring it out.
God made us to be a moral people.
That's right.
God made us to be a holy people, a righteous people.
See.
We don't walk like that, but that's because we've been discontinued from our heritage.
That's right.
Read this.
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16.
it out.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
God says, don't you know that you're my temple? I gave you a body. I rented your body unto you. I lent this body unto you because you're not going to be in this body all your life. You understand? You got to die one day. So you the temple of God while you on this earth. Read on.
And that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you.
He said, my spirit is supposed to dwell in you. You my chosen people. I don't deal with it. Remember, he says, I am in the midst of Israel. How? He's in your spirit.
See.
You understand? This is why you got the greatest people on the earth. Black people, we the greatest people.
Bring it out.
Hispanics, Native Americans, we the greatest people. Everything we put our hands on turn to gold.
That's
We
right.
created everything in this earth.
Bring it out.
We the form of all things. Why? Because God's spirit is in us.
That's right.
Just a little bit. And I have to say that a little bit because when we in sin, God depart from us.
Teach.
You understand? But a little bit of God's spirit is in you because why? We the chosen people of God.
Bring it out.
We the Israelites. Read.
If any man defile the temple of God,
If you defile your temple with smoking cigarettes, you defile your temple with smoking weed, you defile your temple with putting pills in you. You understand? Getting drunk, fornication, tattoos. You got tattoos. That's defiling your temple. That's defiling your body. God says, if any man defile the temple that I gave unto him, that I lent unto him, read on.
him shall God destroy.
God says, eventually, destruction is going to catch up with you. You understand? You smoking cigarettes right now, you think it's fine and dandy. Give me that Ecclesiastes chapter 8. You think it's fine and dandy right now. But guess what? Eventually, suddenly, I'm going to bring destruction upon you. You understand? And guess what? Sometimes your final warning will be prophets before your eyes that's giving you the sense of God's word. Because you might go to church, right? But in church, you worship and serving that man by default. That image may not be in the church, but if a cross is in there, you worship that God. You understand? If that whole entire church is not keeping God's laws, you worship that God. Where you going?
I gotta take my girlfriend out to eat.
About to go out to eat?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember what we just read about discontinuing from your heritage? You ever heard of the Sabbath day? You never heard of the Sabbath day? All right, you got to learn this before you go. You got to. What you got? Give me Ecclesiastes real quick.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8 verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily.
So God says because sentence is judgment. Because judgment is not executed quickly or speedily. Read on.
Therefore the heart of the sons of men.
Therefore the minds of mortal men like us. Read.
Is fully set in them to do evil.
God says because I ain't judged you quickly. You've been smoking that cigarette for about 15 years. 20 years. Nothing never happened. God says because I ain't execute judgment quickly. You got a girlfriend. You just said you taking your girlfriend out, right? Because you ain't got AIDS yet. Not saying your girl got AIDS. But what I'm saying is we go around fornicating and having sex all over the place or going from woman to woman and our sisters from man to man. God says because I ain't gave you AIDS yet, I ain't gave you syphilis yet, STDs yet, I ain't judged you with a baby yet, because sometimes that could be judgment too, because she gonna put you on child support. You understand? The Bible says because I ain't judged you yet quickly, your mind is fully set to continue in your evil ways.
That's
to
right.
Continue in sin.
Bring it out.
You understand? So guess what? You got if you love God, you love God. Okay. Drop 8, Ecclesiastes. Give me love, and then we're gonna go to the Sabbath day for him real quick before you go. Watch this. 1 John chapter 2 or chapter 3. 1 John 5 and 3.
Yeah.
Watch this. You say you love God. Watch this.
1 John chapter 5 verse 3. For this is the love of God.
So now God said, this is the love of God. This is how you show me that you love me. Read.
That we keep his commandments.
God says, if you love me, you ain't gonna keep on sinning and doing your evil because I ain't put judgments on you. If you truly love me, you're gonna keep my commandments immediately. You understand? Now let's get one of the commandments. Exodus chapter 20. So remember, our heritage, we discontinued from it. The fact that you don't know the Sabbath day proves that you discontinued from your heritage that God gave you.
Teach.
Watch this.
Dude, Exodus chapter 20 verse 8. Remember the...
Do what?
Remember.
Do what?
Remember.
You forgot. So the Bible says,
Bring it
remember
out.
this. Remember this. Why I say you forgot? Because one time, as an Israelite, you knew God's laws.
Right.
You understand? You knew this book left and right because this is our heritage. This is our records. This is our history book. You understand? We kept this and we studied it day and night, every single day. We knew God's laws. But when we went into slavery here and we had to serve and worship the white man.
That's right. Teach.
You understand? When that happened, they fed us with Christianity.
Bring it out.
We eventually forgot God's laws.
Teach.
Bring it out.
So God says, now that you understand that you're not African American, you're not black, you're an Israelite, it's something that you got to remember now.
This
You
right.
forgot it. So read it again.
Remember the Sabbath day.
Remember the Sabbath day. Now, Exodus chapter 20 is a list of 10 commandments. I know you heard of 10 commandments. Everybody on the earth done heard about 10 commandments. So the Sabbath day is a part of the 10 commandments. These are commandments which, remember how we read about statutes? Laws throughout the Bible, like Leviticus 18, Leviticus chapter 20, a various amount of places you'll read certain laws that's all throughout the Bible. They all fall under the 10 commandments. So now, it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Read on.
6 days shalt thou labor.
So now remember, to keep it holy means to keep it separate. You understand? It's not like a regular day. Like, for example, you about to go out to eat. Every single day of this week, I know you done went to a fast food restaurant maybe. If you ain't had time, then okay. He said, I just got paid yesterday. That check just hit this morning.
Exactly.
He said, I've been broke. So now, listen, the Sabbath day is holy. To God, it's holy. God says this day is supposed to be separate from all the other rest of the days throughout the year. Read on.
6 days shalt thou labor.
So now 6 days from Sunday to Friday. That counts 6 days. When you look at any calendar, Sunday is the first day of the week. From Sunday to Friday, those are the days that you work. Read on.
And do all thy work.
God says work those 6 days. Read on.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath that you forgot. The seventh day, which is today, is the Sabbath day. You understand? In Spanish, Sabbath or Sabado, it means Saturday. You understand? So Sabbath is today. Read on.
In it thou shalt not do any work.
So one of the statutes under the Sabbath day is that you don't do any work today. Meaning what? You're supposed to be off. You understand? That's what the Bible says. That's a part of our heritage. Now give me Nehemiah chapter 10. Nehemiah chapter 10. Watch this. So this is how you keep the Sabbath day holy. Watch this. Nehemiah 10 and 31.
Nehemiah chapter 10 verse 31. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals.
So ware is going into products. Victuals is going to food. If any, read it again.
And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals.
If the people of the land, what land we in? We in the land of America, right? We in the land, hold where you at, give me Deuteronomy 28:48. We in the land of our slave masters, right? It says if the people of the land or the slave master bring ware products, Walmart, where else we go for products? Family Dollar, we go to Macy's, right? All of these different places where we get ware from or products from. Or victuals, which is what? Food, right? Restaurants. Carrabba's or Piggly Wiggly, Steak and Shake, Longhorns, all of these different restaurants. It says if the people of the land bring any ware or victuals to you upon the Sabbath day, finish this, or Deuteronomy 28.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 48.
Come on.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against you.
God says there's going to be a time where I'm going to send your enemies against you, right? And you're going to have to serve them. Watch this.
In hunger.
And what?
In
Read
hunger.
on.
And in thirst.
Uh-huh.
And in nakedness.
So when you're hungry and you're thirsty, you want food and drink. It says also in nakedness. That goes into the where. When they bring these things to you, right? Read that last part again. You're going to serve them in what? From the top.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness.
So because we broke the commandments, God says you're going to have to go to them in hunger, thirst, and nakedness. Because the restaurant, you got a restaurant plan to go to? Okay. Whatever restaurant you go to, do black people own it? Is it black owned?
You know,
It's not black owned, right? Majority of the time we have to go to who for it? So-called white man. He owned everything in the land, damn near. 99%. We got a little 1% in there. You find black owned businesses here and there. That's why we get so happy and put it on social media, support black businesses, right? We got a little percentage in there. So read that next part.
And in want of all things.
God says we're going to have to serve our enemies in the want of all things. Come on.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Until you forget who you are and until you forget your heritage to the point where you defile the Sabbath day. Go back to Nehemiah.
And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals.
So the people here is the enemy. If the enemy bring ware and victuals unto you, food unto you, restaurants, products unto you. Read on.
On the Sabbath day.
When?
On the Sabbath day.
On God's holy day, which is the seventh day of the week. Read.
To sell.
To what?
To sell.
Read.
That we should not buy it of them on the Sabbath.
So a part of the Sabbath day to keep it holy, there's no buying, there's no selling. We ain't supposed to be going to this store today on the Sabbath day.
T.
Why? Because it's victuals and it's ware in there. We ain't supposed to be buying and selling. So what I'm showing them is that we've discontinued from our actual heritage. We actually got a heritage, surprisingly, right? Because we all think our heritage is hip hop. Nah, basketball, football, music, rap.
Bring it out.
What's in the rap music? Destruction,
bring it out.
killing, adultery, right? Am I right or wrong? Drug dealing, drug smoking. You understand? That's a destructive heritage. God says, I gave you morality. Give me that Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21. So now, a part of the Sabbath day, bro, you can't buy and sell. That's why I want to show you. Remember, you say if you love God, you're going to do what? You're going to keep the commandments. So today will be sacrificing the day, buying and selling, going out to eat with your girl, and on Sunday going to take her out.
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And